Alright, so Qntkka made a video. I've put a link there. Now, Qntkka, I don't really get what's going on. Now, when I just went and grabbed the link for this latest video, I see in your videos that I've missed a couple of your explanation of swatting. I have a feeling some of it is about that. I did not accuse you of swatting him. I used the word swatting because that's what it's called when you call the police on people to harass them, which is what you're accused of. I did not say you did it. You made a video. It seemed like it was about it, and I asked you, is this your defense that, is this your argument that you didn't swat Gary? That's all I know. Now, granted, swatting comes from actually doing it so that the SWAT team shows up. People's dogs can get shot and things like that. But it counts for calling an ambulance, really anything, in my understanding of the term, I would use it for anything where the official government was called to harass you. Yeah, especially if it's a SWAT team, but not limited to that. So that's how I use the term. Now, if you, I could have said, is this your defense that you didn't call the cops on Gary? Okay, because that's what I was curious about. Now, you seem really sensitive. It seems really true of a lot of the people that are all upset about the SJWs is that you have a lot of the same things, like you want to be validated, you want to be safe with your opinions, you expect to be listened to in a certain way, you expect from the conversation. Now, I never said, look, I got thorium energy right here. I try to promote things and my ideas, but I'm not trying to make converts out of you guys because I feel like I'd have to be insane to think that the people I talk to who are mostly chosen because they've got different opinions from me in some way, that's what attracted me to talk to them. I wanted to make some counterpoint at some point, or they made some counterpoint to me that I went ahead and engaged with. To me, that is taking someone as seriously as they can expect, and so on and so forth. You know, you're all still upset that I don't approve of what you did with conference report, but you don't seem to be accepting of the reality that I unblocked you. I'm still talking to you. That shows how open the conversation is. I didn't do that because you say, oh, it's all settled. We're over it. I still disagree with you, and I've made this clear. But yeah, we got over it not because I decided to agree with you, but because we said, well, that's what happened in the history, and we have our own views, and you could go forward. And partially because I accepted that from your point of view, it wasn't just harassment. In your point of view, you're enough of a moralist. You thought authorities and people's bosses should be brought in because that's how you think about it. Because you're the moralist. You're accusing me of moralizing to people. I say what my morals are. And yes, sometimes that includes, hey, I think it's disgusting to say you'd kill a bitch because she's having a baby, right? But I'm not trying to make converts of those people because that's besides the point of conversation. For example, my whole life, I've talked to religious people about religion. I was an atheist in high school, but I went to a Bible study with a friend of mine that was Christian. I've talked to a lot of Christian people that would talk to you over a long time, and the whole time they're trying to convert you to Christianity. That's not as productive as I've talked to Christians over a whole time who, yeah, they're making arguments about why I ought to decide. They're making arguments which might make me have information that, they could hope that I would become a Christian and save my soul that way. But they're not talking every single thing they say is in a conversion attempt. They're talking about the information and how their religion, what they think about their religion, how the religion makes them think about life. And we're discussing information about it, and I have been edified by that information. You guys that Hythloday said the same thing. I'm not said I don't learn from this channel. Quite the opposite. The whole statement of relativistic skepticism, it's philosophy, yeah, I worked on and developed and used for myself since my 20s. But I've learned a lot of different ways to describe and discuss it better and have understood it better myself as a result. Does anybody else seem to understand it better as a result of that process? Not particularly. It's mostly a philosophical process where the language is something we use to think as well. But there's other things that I have learned. Thorium, for example, 5 or 6 years ago, that was from YouTube activity. I've learned about a lot of movements, about gang stalking, about things going on, about, mental health rights issues from Mel's basket case. I did not learn this from YouTube, but recently mentioned how I read Henry George's on Progress and Poverty, or maybe it's just called Progress and Poverty, or Poverty and Progress, whatever it is, and how that has changed my views of economics. Right. So with Eiffel today, I still believe in the government commissary idea, but I still, my ideas of economics have changed. So a lot of how I think about that, what that really means to me, will all have changed. And the information you guys are providing is going into this process. If all you really want is to put out your information and have people take it into their processes, that's happening. But I don't think that's what you really want. Most people seem to have a serious problem where they don't feel understood unless you agree with them. It's impossible because they're not relativistic enough to realize that since some people like vanilla and some people like chocolate, people that like chocolate can understand why the person that likes vanilla bought a vanilla cake for their party. And the people that like vanilla can understand why the people that like chocolate cake drive all the way across the state to get the best chocolate cake for their party, even though they would never do that. Right? That's what we can achieve. Now, the main thing I just want to finish up with is I have no fucking idea. I thought we were getting along fine, better again. Because often you get so sensitive, it seems like there's this extra emotional problem talking to you. Like you're going to get hurt feelings and then start saying that I'm starting rumors about you. I'm moralizing. I'm shoving people off the internet. I'm shutting someone. Who the hell have I ever shut up on the internet? I've blocked people a couple times, and I didn't shut them up off the internet, and I've unblocked them too, because I prefer to have people unblocked. If people are starting to feel threatened and talking all in real life nervous about what's going on here in a conversation, sometimes I get concerned. There was a fan of Gary's one time that made this video about how suddenly I was threatened. I was doing a male aggressive thing, and they were having you're violating my safe space thing, or you're doing this or that, and you're a scary person. I had to cut off talking to that person because I don't want to be their scary thing. Partly it's scary to me to be that, to play that role in someone else's psychology, but also people should have a chance to collect their psychology. I would like to do this conversation, but if you have something you need to collect, you're having a negative, like a paranoid reaction to someone you're talking to on the internet. I think you deserve the time to not have to deal with that person. Right. And it goes both ways. Usually I don't have that. But then when people do certain activities, usually around doxing, I kind of feel like that's not a person that's in the conversation. That's a person who's trying to project something from their IRL life into the conversation and make the conversation a playground for them to think about something that has nothing to do with the rest of us, at least not directly. I don't know what made you so butthurt. Um, I asked you if you were denying having called the cops on Gary. I don't recall you doing that denial. I don't know that you did do it. I have no reason to think that you did do it. It doesn't seem like the same thing. Seems relatable, but doesn't seem like the same thing you did to Fred. So I don't know. And I haven't said anything other than that. But I asked you a question about it. Oh, and we shouldn't talk about certain things are off limits. Certain things are triggering. You need a safe space. You have rights and things you can expect out of the public domain. We should all. I don't know what your problem is, but you need to get it under control. I'm here to have a conversation with someone who thinks about things differently than you. You want to come and see why would somebody actually think women's rights are still an issue? And I will tell you and have told you. Okay? Because you don't think they're still an issue. So you might have to go to someone else to find out any reason at all why, why do you believe? Like, I don't think immigration's a big issue. I have to go to other people to figure out why most people disagree with me. And that's what we're doing here. And yeah, it changes me over time because I get more information. I'm in charge of my growing process. You're in charge of your growing process. If I give you information and it does or doesn't change you, that's part of your life. Okay, I'm not here to make that happen. That is not my goal to do that, to make you into a different kind of person that thinks differently. Seriously, get over this want of some sort of safety space. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, the biggest thing so far you've told me that I've done you is I indirectly called you a sucker because you were stupid enough to vote for Trump. Well, grow up and deal with it. That's what I think.